Hi everybody! So I know it's been a super long time since I've done a technique video, and of course I'm going to customize some white Prima flowers again, and these are the flowers that I have available on my website now, and I'm probably going to do a couple of videos tonight, so make sure you stay tuned. And all I'm using is some Chinese watercolor paints that are in the tube and some Chinese paintbrushes to do this technique. So I've got my little dish right here, and I've already watered down the paint a little bit, but I'm going to water it down a little bit more. So I'm going to add some water to both sides of this pink and green, and I'm going to make kind of like a watermelon-y looking flower. And the green is going to be my base color, so I'm going to start with that first. And I'm going to get and you'll see a little chunk of green. I'm not mixing the whole thing because I want to have different consistencies of green in here. So I'm just getting enough, and I'm dabbing this into the center of my flower, and this is really, really watered down. So that's what I want. I don't want it to be too dark just yet. And I'm going to make this fade, and it's going to look really cool. So I'm just going to keep sucking up some of that water, and I'm going to add some more water to it as I go. And I'm just pulling some more green out right now. I'm going to keep dabbing it into the center until the flower has absorbed most of the moisture, meaning the entire flower is going to be wet pretty soon, all the way up to the edges. And if you want, you can use your paintbrush to guide the water up the petals a little bit too. But usually the paper will soak it up and do most of the work for you. Now I'm going to grab a little bit more green, so I'm going to mix some more color into the water. So a little darker green, I'm going to dab that into the center. So I'm not really painting the petals, I'm just letting the paper do the work for me here. And just keep doing that, and like I said before, you can guide it up the petals just a little bit towards the center to get a nice fade. But you really want to focus more on the middle, and I'm not going anywhere near the very edges of my petals. So I'm kind of just going up center of my petals, staying away from the very edge. Now, oops, this one's a little light over here. I want it to be a little darker. Now I'm going to rinse my brush, and I'm just going to have a little bit of water in my brush, and I'm just going to go along the edges of these petals to make sure that this color really blends nicely. Okay, and now I'm going to work on my second flower, because I'm going to layer these, and I want, like I said before, I want it to be kind of watermelon-y looking. So I'm using pink and green, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to get this thing soaked. And this is really watered down pink. I love these flowers. You guys know how I really like customizing white flowers, so these are perfect for that. Now I'm mixing some more of the color into the water to get a darker pink. And I'm doing the same thing I did with the green. Just going to keep dabbing up, and then I'm going to guide it up the petals just a little bit, staying away from the tips. That was Garrett yawning in the background, by the way. Want to say hi to everybody? He's like, no. He's tired and I'm making him stay up. Alright, and same thing with that. I'm rinsing my brush, then I'm just putting some water on the tips just so it'll blend nicely. And rinse my brush, set it aside, and now I'm going to dry these with my heat gun. Just grabbing some tweezers so they don't blow away like that. And don't hold your heat gun on these for too long, because then you'll end up just burning your flowers. So you want to move your heat gun around. Definitely don't keep it stationary. So now you can sort of see how the tips of the petals are staying kind of white or limey green. That's exactly what we wanted. Ah, come back here. All right, now we'll layer them real quick. And I'm just going to use some quick dry wet adhesive for this. Don't put a whole lot of glue on there because we did use watercolor paints. And if it gets too wet with glue, it'll the color will start to bleed a little bit. So look at these tips. Isn't that cool? Love that. And you guys have seen me do this with Glimmer Mist a whole bunch. But watercolor is a little different. I love these colors together. They're so springy, summery. So I'll have to do a cute little layout for Brooke. Since we just went to the park the other day. Now I'm just going to stick a Prima pearl in the center, and the one I'm using is kind of a antique pearl look. So pretty cool technique. Here's one I did earlier, and I just stuck a gem in there. But it kind of looks like watermelon flower. Anyway, guys, hope you liked it, and stay tuned for the next video.